All right, let's look at our second project, which is a Fahrenheit to Celsius converter in Java. We're going to sort of take this program that we originally built in Alice, and we're going to build a similar program to it in NetBeans in Java. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to the File menu, and we're going to go to New Project. It's going to be a Java project, and it's going to be a Java application. In the project name, we're going to type in Celsius. On the browse, we're going to determine where to save this project. We're going to change the project location so that if we want to, we can take it home with us. I'm just going to store this in my fall folder, in my fall classes folder. Under Create Main Class, we're going to type in Celsius with a capital C. There should be nothing else in there but the word Celsius. Once you've done all that, you can click Finish. You'll notice all this junk at the top. You can get rid of it unless you have a package statement because you've done something incorrectly. Please leave that package statement in there. Otherwise, you'll have problems with your program. Otherwise, you can delete all of the stuff in gray. Those are comments. And we're going to put our own comments in. Again, the first line is, what does the program do? So I wrote that mine converts Fahrenheit temperatures to Celsius. You're going to want to put in who wrote the program. That would be your name. The date it was created, or the date it was last updated, your choice. Today is the 20th. And finally, the version of Java that you're using. For most of you, for everybody here in class, that's going to be JDK version 6. Let me real quick see if I can do something about the font here. Preferences. That's much better. Okay, again, I'm going to get rid of the comments. The comments are usually in gray. Now, we know that the formula for Celsius is 5 divided by 9 times, in parentheses, Fahrenheit minus 32. For this program to work, I'm going to need a couple of variables. Right off the bat, I can think of two variables I'm going to need. One to store the Fahrenheit temperature, and one that's going to store the resulting Celsius temperature. We're going to create them as doubles, since temperatures can be decimal numbers. I'm going to call the first value Fahrenheit, since it is going to store the Fahrenheit temperature. And I'm going to initialize it to the value 52. I'm also going to create a double to store Celsius. We're going to use a lowercase c. Remember that Java is case sensitive, so capital C Celsius and lowercase c Celsius are two different values. Now we've got to get our equation in. And again, we know that Celsius is 5 divided by 9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. We can write that by saying Celsius equals, and what that says is whatever equation we're going to do, whatever mathematical statement we're going to put here, we're going to assign that result to the Celsius variable. And it's going to be 5 divided by 9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. Now there's a couple problems with this. If we look at the formula, the formula says we have to have parentheses around the Fahrenheit minus 32 because that's got to happen first. Remember, order of operations. Division, multiplication, modulus will happen first in the order that we come across them, then addition and subtraction. In this case, we need the subtraction to happen first. We need the value of Fahrenheit to be subtracted from 32 before anything else happens. Remember that we control order of operations with parentheses. So anything inside the parentheses happens first. We go to the innermost parentheses, do what's inside it, and work our way out. In this case, we'd only have one set of parentheses. Some of you might spot another small problem, but I'm going to ask you just to keep that to yourself for a moment. Those of you that haven't spotted a small problem, don't worry. You'll see it in a few minutes. And we'll go over how we should deal with it, or what our options are for dealing with it. The last thing that I want to do is I want to print out a statement that shows me the before and the after. So I want a statement that displays the Fahrenheit value, and then I want a statement that displays the Celsius value. We're going to use system.out.println. And to display the Fahrenheit value, I'm going to say the Fahrenheit temperature is space, and then that's going to be my literal string. I'm going to use the plus sign, and then I'm going to display, and then my variable Fahrenheit. That's going to be one statement. And then the next statement is going to be system.out.println. And it's going to be the same thing, except it's going to say the Celsius temperature is. All right. When you get that far, as long as you don't see any red squigglies mean you got a problem. If you don't have any red squigglies, you can run the program. And you can click on the green triangle, or you can go up to Run and Run Main Project. And you're going to get a Fahrenheit temperature of 52 and a Celsius temperature of 0. I see a couple people still working on a few things, so I'm going to hold off for just a few minutes and let them get caught up. have any trouble. Yes. Okay. In Alice, we got 11.1 repeating. And in Java, we get 0. Can anybody hazard a guess as to why? We have an integer divided by integer. And I had a suggestion while I was getting that answer that typecasting may solve the problem. That is correct. We have two options to fix this. The simple option is to do 5.0 divided by 9.0. And if we make that change, we now have double divided by double, which means we'll get the decimal result of 5 divided by 9. If we make that little change and run it again, we now get 11.1 repeating. We have another option. We could leave them as integers, and as we saw earlier, we could typecast them to doubles. You only have to do it to 1. Because a double divided by an integer, the integer is going to be promoted to a double, and you end up with double divided by double. Either one of those will work. It is up to you which one to use. But I want to make sure I show you both. If you encounter something like that, stop and think. Before you go changing data types, before you change variable data types, before you do any of that, think. Think very carefully. What would cause that, and how could you make a change? Because you're going to run into this on your homework. You're actually going to run into this problem. It's going to be a variable that is defined as an integer divided by a literal integer, and you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a change. And you're going to have to decide which option you want to take. What I'm going to tell you is redefining that integer variable as a decimal number is not the right option. Changing data types on a variable definition is not necessarily always the correct option. Let's take a break, the actual scheduled break for the evening, which I had planned to take a 20-minute break now, tonight. So let's take a 20-minute break. Let me let all of this sink into your head. And when we come back, we're going to try something kind of challenging. When we come back, we're going to try something kind of challenging. All right?